Chapter 4 Dark Cedars. I can still hear the rabbit's voice when I open my eyes. I look at the clock next to my bed. It is morning, time to get ready for school. I rummage through my suitcase and the cardboard box and find what I need. I don't feel like putting my clothes into the creepy wardrobe. When I was little, my mom read me that book about the wardrobe and the lion and the witch. I wished then that I had a magic wardrobe that I could crawl into and end up in some strange land. Now that I really am in a strange land, all I want to do is crawl back home. But if there were some kind of magic door in that wardrobe, it'd probably take me someplace even worse than this. I take my toothbrush and go into the bathroom. The only good thing about the room is that it has a bathroom connected to it. It means I don't have to go out into the hall or downstairs yet and see him. There's a bathroom built in because the former owners tried to run a bed and breakfast. There's actually an old sign leaning on its side against the house. Dark Cedars Bed and Breakfast. The name alone is enough to scare people away from it. But I think it probably just didn't work out because this place is too far from the center of town, even though it's near Three Falls Gorge, which is the town's main place of scenic beauty, as our Chamber of Commerce puts it. When my uncle got this place, he took down the sign. While I'm in the bathroom, I look at myself in the small, smoky mirror hanging over the sink. I think I have the kind of face that only a mother could love. But both my parents tell me I'm wrong. They think thick eyebrows that almost meet in the middle and ink black hair that grows so thick I need hedge clippers to trim it are positive assets. There's so much you can do with that hair, my mother says. Like get it cut short and dyed blonde. My nose is okay, not bumpy or too short or too long, but my lips are too thick. My cheeks look as if I have apples stuffed in them, and when I smile, my teeth are straight, but there's this gap between my incisors on top. Braces will do wonders for you, dear. As if, I think. I can't wait until I'm old enough to get a real makeover, like they have sometimes on the shopping channel. Still, though, I'm not thrilled with how I look. I don't hate my looks. I can just see lots of room for improvement. And I know that people must like my face, at least a little, because whenever I smile at someone, they almost always smile back. Except for my uncle. I tried smiling at him yesterday. He just studied my face like a scientist, looking at some strange new bug until my smile crawled away and died. I won't try that again. I sigh and lift up my chin. At least I don't look like a terrified victim in some slasher movie. I just look like a kid about to catch the bus. I leave the bathroom and try the door. It's not locked from the outside anymore. It never is by this time. I peek outside carefully, my backpack with a large empty plastic container in it over my shoulder. No sign of anyone up or down the hall. As soon as I start down the creaky stairs, he hears me. Come down to breakfast, he whispers up the stairs. He's standing at the bottom, half hidden by the old coat rack. He turns and walks away. He doesn't like me to see his face in the morning, or ever, for that matter. I go into the sunroom. It looks like it used to be a screened porch once. It has a floor of cold stone tiles and is connected to the back of the house. Its 4 big windows and sliding glass door were probably meant to let in the sun and give you a view of the garden. But there is no sun today, and there hasn't been a garden out there for a while. The places where flowers once grew are overgrown with nettles and burdock and a few small sumac trees, their leaves all red now that there's been a frost. Although there's room in the sunroom for several tables, there's just the one. It's a glass-topped table with rusty blue metal legs. The 2 chairs are made of that same rusty blue metal with curlicue designs. The table is set for 1. As always, he's already eaten. At least that's what he says. I've never seen evidence of his breakfast. I see his back as he goes out the sunroom door. I'm never allowed to go out that way toward the big shed in the backyard, with heavy-duty hinges on the thick, bolted doors. His tool room, he says. I wonder again what he was doing out there last night. Eat your breakfast, he calls back without turning his head. You're looking thin. Then he's gone, and I take my first real breath of the day. The food on the table looks good. I'm hungry. Grapefruit, cereal, toast with butter and jam. I put my backpack under the table between my knees. I take the lid off the plastic container in the backpack and pretend to eat. But each spoonful of cereal, each slice of toast, each piece of fruit goes into the plastic box. I snap the lid onto it and close the backpack. Then I pretend to wipe my lips with the paper napkin, ball it up, and put it on the now empty plate. I'm just in time because, just as he's done every other day, he sticks his head out of the door of the shed to see I've eaten my food. Done, I call out in a cheery voice. Then I stand up and walk to the front door, trying to be as calm as possible, hoping that it will not be locked. It isn't, and I escape down the walk to the corner where the school bus will arrive within 5 minutes. Time enough to dump the food down the storm drain at the curb edge. Let the rats deal with it. Super paranoid. That is what you are saying now. Melodramatic. But I'm determined not to eat the food he gives me. I think he put something into it. When I first got here, I ate what he put in front of me automatically. I started having a headache, and my heart was racing, and I felt like some kind of zombie. When I went to bed that night, I just conked out. I didn't even dream. The next day, I started my Tupperware routine. If I'd kept eating that food, I'd probably be walking with my arms held out in front of me, saying, "Yes, master," in a hollow voice whenever he spoke. When the bus comes, I take the first seat. Other kids are sitting with friends, but I stay by myself. This isn't the bus I used to take. No one in my class is on it, and people are still checking me out. I haven't been in a hurry to be all bright and cheery with my new busmates either. When the bus stops in front of the school, though, I have to start smiling. This is my place of refuge. I'm safe here. Other kids might groan when they walk through the big front doors, but I breathe a sigh of relief. It's all so routine and boring here. I love it. Although when Laura Lowe, who's my second best friend, waves to me from her locker, I pretend not to see her and just go straight into class. I know she wants to talk to me about Greg Iverson and how cute he is, and do I think he likes her? And I can't bear it. For some reason, I just can't think of anything to say to other kids right now, and all that stuff that used to interest me seems kind of unreal. In our class, it is Don Quixote Day. At least it is for Miss Showbiz. We are all groaning by the time she finishes belting out her melody from Man of La Mancha. I'm groaning the loudest of all because it just makes me feel so safe, so normal. I feel so great that when Miss Shabazz tells us to open our workbooks, I burst out in laughter that is so loud and inappropriate that everyone, including Miss Shabazz, looks at me. Maureen Viola, who is my best friend and who sits 2 seats away, looks at me and mouths the words, "What is wrong with you?" All of a sudden, I feel as if I am about to burst into tears. I have to put my head down on my desk. What is wrong with me? I'm not being tortured or anything. My uncle was kind enough to take me in. He's just a little strange. Maybe I'm the truly strange one with my worries about being drugged and my blockading my door at night and imagining what might be happening in that shed. Too much imagination. That's me. Miss Shabazz has a little talk with me that afternoon. She asks me to wait behind when the rest of the class is leaving for gym. She's worried about my behavior. Is everything all right? She pauses. At home? What home? That's what I want to say. I want to scream and cry and have her hold me in her arms while I sob against her shoulder. But what good would that do? So I give her my patented sunny smile. Everything is fine, I say, really, fine. But Miss Shabazz doesn't smile back. Really? She says in a soft voice. Then she looks beyond that smile, right into my eyes as if she can see my thoughts. It's not the way my uncle does it. Not like someone stealing a part of me. It's not even like an adult looking at a kid who's being unreasonable. It's the way a true friend looks at you when they say they want to help you and really mean it. No, I whisper, it's not. And then I tell her. I don't tell her everything because now that I'm in school, my fears seem a little foolish, and I don't want her to think I'm being melodramatic. But I tell her how I feel, how weird it is in my uncle's house, how I really, really don't want to be there. She doesn't interrupt or ask questions. She just listens, nodding every now and then. When I'm done, I feel lighter, as if I'm no longer carrying a 10-ton truck on my shoulders. Miss Shabazz lightly places her hands on my shoulders. She doesn't say I'm being foolish or that I should grow up. Sweetheart, she says, thank you for telling me. She turns slightly to write something on a card that she hands to me. Here's my home phone and my cell phone. Call me any time, okay? We'll keep an eye on this together, right? Right, I say. And for the rest of the day in school, things almost do seem right. But then I take one more deep breath, and the school day is over. That's bad. The only good thing is that it's Wednesday. That means I get to come back to school tomorrow and the next day before the weekend comes, which most kids love because it means we won't have to go back to school for 2 days. 2 whole days. I walk home because it takes longer than the bus. I stop at a fast food place to eat enough to kill my appetite. I don't have much money left, and I don't know what I'll do when it runs out. But I try not to worry about that now. There are other, more pressing concerns. Finally, it is getting dark. I can't avoid it anymore. I'm headed back to the House of Doom.